YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on the video today. If you haven't already or you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment. It helps me out a bunch and defeat the algorithm. So I appreciate the support that has been in the last couple videos. Let's keep that thing rolling. We are here in the Hamline Piper Dynasty Series here in 2028. We are clipping through this season. We are at week 11, and we're 9-1, ranked number 3 in the nation. We host the Maryland Terrapins here this week. We should have one more game, I believe, after this. As week 11. Yep, we go to Washington next week, and then we're wrapping up the regular season. So, without further ado, let's hop into the game. Defense gets to start the game here today on the field against Maryland. They took the kickoff out of the end zone for some reason, so they're backed up quite a bit, but this play gains them 13 yards to start their possession. Did a good job of making Landman make a choice, whether he was going to take the short intermediate route or if he was going to try to carry the deeper route with the tight end. And it looks like he made the wrong decision. They're going to go again to a little dump-off option, and they're going to pick up 8. Fast-paced offense here, prone to turnovers. That blitzer looked like he had a chance to pick that off, but they pick up the first down, a little RPO action. See if we can slow him down here. Stadium Pulse is going crazy here in the first drive of the day at home. See if we can give them something to cheer about as Cano makes the tackle in the backfield. And it's going to be 2nd and 12 for the first time in this possession. We have Maryland playing behind the sticks. They're going to go ahead and audible. We're going to audible with it. Going to carry this down the seam, give up the underneath route, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4. They have really been taking the underneath route to start this game, so we might have to make an adjustment to try to take those away as the game goes on. And we're going to undercut that. That's going to be a pick. Can we get to the outside with the speed and get around the offensive lineman? We can, but the receiver catches him. But a huge play in man coverage, which we don't see very frequently from our corners, but we were able to make a play there in phase with the receiver, and even though they're off to a really good start, we turned Maryland over. As I mentioned, fast-paced but prone to turnovers as Marvin Kamar makes the play. Now our offense gets the chance to come on the field here and see what we can do on this side of the ball. We're going to make a throw across body, but we drop it. We've been having some issues with drop passes here in the last couple of weeks. Bell had one last week. Peaks, you see, have one right there. So we really got to make sure we shore that up as we dump it down to Mustard, and he is able to pick up the first down. Safety's coming on a blitz. See if we can get over the top of him here. Bell gets hit as he throws. We had it too. Hit as he throws with the blitzing safety, and that's the price that you pay when you're trying to take a deep shot when we have a safety blitzing. We're going to go to the tight end screen. Robert is going to pick up 7. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 3. Probably looking to go right back to Robert here. We're actually going to go to Keene, the backup tight end. He's going to make the catch and get plenty of yards past that. And we're moving the ball here on this first drive. The big thing to remember is we are a pretty run-heavy team. And we're moving the ball through the air while taking care of it, which is important. And as we say that, I thought we would maybe catch them off guard by going to the ground, but they make a really good play and tackle us for no gain. First offensive possession here, we're going to go back to Mustard. He's only going to pick up about 7. Pretty disappointing blocking by our O-line here. to start on the ground for this first possession. Robert's going to be wide open. He's going to fight his way into the end zone. That is a TD for the TE. Touchdown, Pipers. Defense back out on the field here after causing a turnover last possession. Looks like they're going to go to the ground to start this possession. But they go play action. They're going to hit the seam with their tight end, and that is a really good play call, especially because I thought it was a run. So I was out of position. We brought a safety blitz, so the safety was out of position as well. Why do we have our two safeties so far up right now? We're going to blitz. Landman's going to get home, make the sack, and it's going to be 2nd and 18. Don't mind the fact that I was fooled on the play action. Just look at the result of the play. And the stadium pulse again is starting to go nuts here in the second possession. We're going to stay with the tight end. We're going to get home yet again. That is going to be another sack. Big Bob Sanders on the sack. And it is going to be 3rd and 31 here for the Terrapins. We just really need to make sure we don't give up anything huge here. Making sure that we're not giving them this 3rd and 31. We're going to get home yet again. This time, George Verrier with the sack. And they are going to have to punt. Defense really stepping up here. Olshansky doesn't get a lot of opportunities. As I mentioned, I think it was last episode, maybe the episode before. Typically, I don't show the punt returns because that's typically what ends up happening. But just in case we find a punt return, and it gives a little bit more depth to the game as well, for when we punt and for when our opponents have to punt as well. That way you can see some of that action as well. Although most of the time it is kind of a lacking of drama and different things. I still think that it's important to see as Sevilla breaks the sack and gets it out before he goes down, which then saves the 3rd and 5 opposed to having a 3rd and very long. Bell runs right by the corner. He's going to run by the safety, and he hears it ringing in the end zone. Touchdown, Pipers. Defense out on the field yet again. They have bad field position again. This time it wasn't such a bad decision to go out, but I don't know if the CPU is programmed to fair catch it when it's like deeper on kickoffs yet, because there's times where they definitely should, and they just don't. So I don't know if that's a part of the programming or what. Anyway, we are now in a 3rd and 3 situation. We've really got to make sure that we don't give up something cheap and easy. I'm going to take over Cano here, sit on this little tight end route. And they end up going to Landman's side. That's crazy. Throwing away from my user. Crowd's still going nuts. Again, kind of one of those other things that I really would like to happen as we progress in this this dynasty save, as that's caught. Don't know how, but it is. Making this one of the toughest places to play, and it's definitely increased from the start of this, obviously, with all the success that we have bred here at Hamline. Okay, you got to come back and make a play on that. We're going to go to man-to-man. That's where they threw the interception. And they're just kind of just sitting back there picking apart our zone defense here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. They just will not. They refuse to hand the ball off to this man. They absolutely refuse it. That's crazy. But yeah, it would be nice to get one of the toughest places to play. And making sure that that's a thing. If it's not a thing here in College Football 25, hopefully it is in College Football 26. I've seen that there's some official trailers and different things coming out about that, which is very, very exciting. As we get down in the red zone, they finally give it to their running back. He's going to get down to the 1-yard line. It's kind of crazy to think about that we were just last year, we're super stoked about what animation is that? Good Lord. About this game coming out. And now we're constantly or consistently talking about a new college football game being in our hands and different things like that. As we are sitting here again, slant, touchdown, terrapins. Offense on the field here. Just at the beginning of the second quarter here, it's 14-7. We're going to go ahead and give Peaks the underneath. We get a great block by Mustard. We get another one down the field, and he scampers for a big gain to start this drive. Those are the small things that we need to do better at if we are going to try to three-peat here. Mustard finds some space finally as he gets 4 carries for 18 yards and a chunk of them on that play alone. We're going to bounce this outside. Mustard's going to get around the corner. He's going to try to juke inside the safety. He's not going to be able to do so. But we are finally starting to move the ball on the ground. We're going to see Smith, who's a freshman. He's been playing super well in the very, very small role that he's been playing here in the last couple weeks due to just a bunch of injuries in the running back room. You didn't see a whole lot there from him, which was pretty disappointing. That's got to be offsides, right? That might be the first time I've seen that in the game, actually. That's going to give us a free first down.
The offense moved, but it's because the defender jumped into the neutral zone, and the offense will pick up the 5. The offense comes back out.
Going to go ahead and get back to the ground. Smith with the little burst. He's going to find his way into the end zone. The freshman into the end zone. Touchdown, Piper. Defense back out on the field, and we are looking to not give up any more points here. We're going to hand it off to the running back there to start the drive. It is going to pick up 2. We're going to go ahead and get back into more of a traditional defense here for us in a zone without Deion Shore dropping in coverage. We've mentioned it a few times how quiet Deion Shore has been this year and how disappointing it's been, but our D-line is so good. As you can see, we have 3 different superstars on that D-line. And then we have Bobby Sanders there as well, and Sheets, and we just have a lot of talent on that D-line. As we see George Verrier crashing from the backside to take down the quarterback on an option play, and that's going to force a punt. George Verrier has been relatively quiet as well. Just not a lot of stats, right? They get pressures, they do all those things as well. They run stop pretty well, as I probably should have fair caught that. But just sheer numbers is kind of lower than what I would expect and what I would like from those types of guys, especially with superstars under them. Bell's going to run right by their corner again. And that's not even Bell this time. That's Olshansky. He's not going to get to the end zone, but he is going to get down to the 6. Olshansky is another guy that is a burner from the slot. He is also our punt returner, as you just saw the last time. And he also returned kicks. Mustard's going to wiggle his way into the end zone. And 3 + 4 = 7. Touchdown. Pipers. Defense back on the field here again, really looking to halt any scoring here, to really, oh boy, is he breaking his ankles. Cano just got his ankles torn. But we're really just trying to end this game a little bit early here.
Defensively, you're giving up points, so it's not like you have the luxury of the defense playing great. The offense is going to have to score and score pretty dang quickly.
They're going to give it to the running back that time. George Verrier is hurt. I talk smack about how he hasn't been productive, and they're like, you know what? Here, see how good our defense is without him. We're going to come up, make the hits, 3rd and 3 on the little zig route to their running back. Again, we just really need to make sure that we are taking away the short routes. It's the only thing that they really seem to want to. I just hit stick my own guy. I should know better. The hit sticks don't work too great in this game. But That's the way that it rolls sometimes. 28-7 here, 4:40 left to go in the second quarter. They're going to hand it to their tight end. They don't have a running back in the backfield, and they hand it off. Like, what is happening? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Who's playing? Who's calling plays? And they go to the flat again. Tight end breaks the tackle, but we are rallying to the ball. We're going to go ahead and keep Greg Gammon in until Greer feels he is ready to enter the game again, as the re-injury was high with the sprained wrist. Especially in a 28-7 game here, it looks like we're going to get the ball back before half. As Deion Shore gets home for the sack. As I was saying, looks like we're going to have time to get the ball back and score again to make it 35-7 before half, which then further pushes the point where he probably doesn't need to come back at all, as our defense is going to be fine in the time period and the scoring situation that we're in at this point in time. Mustard, again, finds nothing there. I wonder if it's because we're running in predictable times, I guess. I don't really know why we're not being able to run the ball, but we just don't have any space right now to run the football, which is pretty disappointing, especially against a team such as Maryland, who clearly struggles. Salvia is going to throw it out to Bell. I hear a little ringing in the end zone. We're going to run towards it. The bell has been rung. Touchdown, Pipers. Defense back out here on the field. 2:44 left here. Again, goal is to not give up any points, and it seems like they're kind of just giving up at this point. They're actually handing the ball off. But guys, you're down 28 here in the first half, so we're gonna come to the underneath. Landman's gonna come up and make a tackle. That might actually been Cano. That's the one thing, they both have this, like, the same arm thing. It's hard to tell which one's which most of the time. However, it's going to be third and about 2, maybe 3. See what they come up with here. We're going to kind of creep here for a little short hook route to the tight ends, but our corner, with only one person over there, is not playing the sticks. And yeah, we give up the first down. I thought that was a fumble. We got home, forced the incompletion, and yeah, we are just kind of rolling over the Terrapins at this point in time, except for that route. We can't guard it. We just can't guard it. I don't know what they're reviewing. He definitely caught it. And that's a catch in the NFL. Quarterback is 20 of 23, does have that interception, but a lot of those completions are just that, checkdowns. They are getting a lot of yards off of them because of missed hit sticks and just missed plays by our defenders. We might have to play these guys, man. And I don't say that very often because our man coverage is not good with the corners that we have right now. Not good at all. But they find the end zone before half, which is not ideal. Offense here, after the defense gives up a quick touchdown, we're going to take the ball. We're going to go and try to get those points back here before the end of the quarter. We're going to have a deep ball again. Sevilla is going to throw it up to Olshansky, and he is going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Pipers. And before anybody sits there, because I've heard some rumblings. Heisman difficulty. There's no different sliders, no nothing. It's just the default. But that's just the team we've built so far, and it's working clearly. Offense gets to start on the field for the second half. Mustard's going to start with it. We had a cutback lane, decided against it. So still not really any yardage on the ground, which is very worrisome because we definitely need to be able to run the ball to win big games. And if we can't run against Maryland, then we're going to be in trouble. 10 for 46, 4.6 yards isn't that terrible. But we had one pretty decently sized run, which is really kind of skewing that, opposed to being consistent at 4.6 yards. But 4.6 is 4.6. Mustard is going to find his way to having 7. You can tell he doesn't really have the burst that like PJ Takeoff or Tyson has or had. Even Smith has a little bit more of a giddy up than Mustard does as the freshman, but he is very productive when he gets the ball. It's really important to understand that Mustard is also still a freshman. I think that sometimes I forget he's a freshman when I'm talking about him, and that, you know, I think he's a power back, so the speed probably just is not going to be there. The explosiveness isn't going to be there just because he, again, is a power back. But we need to be able to be dynamic as Sevilla uses his athleticism to get outside of the pocket and throw that ball away to save the sack yardage. Wasn't quite fast enough to get all the way to the outside, but it was good enough to not get sacked. Robert is going to grab it again, and he's going to pick up a pretty decent chunk of yardage. One little piece that I've been kind of hiding a little bit, just with the way that I edit things. Robert wants to transfer because of playing time. Because rating-wise, he is behind Keene, but the game, for whatever reason, does not realize that I moved him up in the depth chart somehow. So I have him up above Keene clearly in the depth chart, but he still feels like he doesn't have playing time because he is below him. As our freshman finds the end zone again, this time a little touch pass from Mustard, and he is grittying all over the Terrapins. Defense here on the field, we're probably going to, if we get a stop here, we're probably going to play the offensive possession and try to drain as much clock as we can, get in the end zone, and then we'll probably just send to the end. I know this is a pretty common theme here as of late, which is not the most ideal for gameplay and different things like that. I have been brainstorming some things to make the gameplay more. It's hard to do it mid-season for me, just thought process-wise, and really just trying to figure out what the best thing for the series is. To ensure that like stats and awards and all that stuff still come to the players here at Hamline because they deserve it. So whether it is shortening the game times, I've also been thinking about finding some sliders that make it harder. Again, something harder to do in season, and then obviously there's always the option of playing moments or playing just defense because it's harder and stuff like that. They're going to hit the seam and they're going to score a touchdown. I get fooled on that route so much. Terrapins get into the end zone, make it 42-21. All right, offense back on the field. I apologize. I said it was 42-21. It is 49-21. We're going to take this offensive possession and we're really going to try to drain out the clock. We are going to be able to get it out of the third quarter. I understand that this also doesn't help the gameplay situation because watching me run inside zones and stretches and waiting for the clock to dwindle down isn't the most fun thing to watch either. So again, that's why I'm trying to figure out all these alternative things that we can do, and Mustard needs to shift that gap. Good. So again, I just want to make sure that the people that take the time to watch the videos aren't getting bored or sick of the series just in general, because of the fact that the videos get shorter and the gameplay gets shorter as well, just due to the sheer amount of points that are scored. So we get into the fourth quarter here, and we're going to see a lot of Mustard as he just trucks the safety, gets up over 100 yards here in the game. They're going to really commit to the run, which I would also do that if I were in their situation. And ironically enough, they're committing the run, and we're running better now with the run commit than we have when they weren't committing to the run. So don't really know what that's all about, but that's kind of what it seems like at this point in time. We had Robert for a touchdown too, but they came off the edge for the sack. Kind of trying to catch them off guard a little bit with playing super tight because of the run. See if we can get Hag over the top. We're not going to. Robert is going to make that catch. What a throw by Sevilla. What a concentration catch by Robert. All around a fantastic play there to pick up the 3rd and 10. I am in awe of that. I thought it was going to be picked when it left his hand. Instead, we get the first down. We're going to go ahead and try to throw it here to Hag. Otherwise, we're going to have Peaks coming on a drag route right in front of us. Hag wins, but they have a safety over the top. We are not able to step up soon enough to avoid the sack. 3rd and 16 here. Can we get Keene?
On the field, you got to make sure you keep him upright. You got to do a better job.
Keene is wide open. Oh, this Terrapin defense is terrible. Touchdown, Piper. All right, sim to the end of the game. 56-21 stayed at the final. Again, just don't want to continue to show us this throwing up points. We shouldn't score 70 points in a game, those types of things. So be it 436 and 5 touchdowns. He was unreal today. 26 carries for 191 for Mustard. 3 for 21 and a touchdown for Smith as well. So running the ball ended up getting much, much better. Robert 4 for 65 and a touchdown. We had Olshansky with 2 catches for 127 and a touchdown. Bell had 2 catches for 127 and 2 touchdowns. Keene had 2 catches for 51 and a touchdown. And then we have Noah Smith with the catch from Mustard on the little jet handoff, the jet pass, I guess. Arthur Cano led the team with 10 tackles. Landman, his middle linebacker buddy, right behind him with 8. These two we have another year of these two, which is fantastic. Kamar had 7 tackles and the interception. Maynard, the Admiral from Navy, transferring to us in this past offseason, had 6 tackles as well. 4 tackles for loss for Cano, 2 for Verrier, Shore, and Sanders. Sacks, we had 2 for Verrier, 1.5 for Shore. Landman had 1.5 for Bobby Sanders. And then we already talked about Kamar's interception. So a great all-around performance. 21 points is a little more than what we would like. But a lot of them were breakdowns in our zone coverage, which we need to address for sure. But 56 points again by the offense, played really efficiently. And we moved to 7-1 in the conference and 11-1 in total. And that's going to be the episode here in week 11. I apologize. I said 11-1. We are 10-1. They just didn't have our updated 7-1 in the conference. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we have one game left next week against Washington, so that will be the next episode. And depending on how that goes, we might get into the bowl season as well in that next episode. Again, just trying to figure out the best way to, have this continue to move without you guys getting bored, and different things like that. So I'm really trying to keep your viewing pleasure in mind. With that being said, if you haven't already or you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. Leave a comment on it as well. I truly appreciate your support. As always, I hope you have a good day. I hope you had a great day. Spread the word. Peace.